Hearing from two LA County supervisors who oppose the measure, Holly Mitchell, as well as LA County Supervisor Kathryn Barger. They both join us remotely. Thanks to both of you. So listen, currently the Board of Supervisors, the five queens, as now that it's all women, used to be called the five kings. You each represent 2 million people. From what I understand, it hasn't changed since nearly statehood, the charter. So the argument is made that it is time to expand the board so that there's greater representation. Supervisor Mitchell, why is that not the case?
Actually, I think it's a great idea, Conan, which is why I brought forward a motion a year ago, February 2023, to study overall governance updates for the county as a whole, to expand the board, to consider a number of options that I think would be appropriate for the board to take into consideration. So I think that's a great idea. I think the challenge with this measure is it does much more.
Which is the countywide election, is that of a chief executive officer?
It's the countywide election of a chief executive officer who has no term limits, who has hiring and firing and oversight authority over all of the department heads, who has full control over the budget with veto power over the board, and again has no term limits. So it completely alters the balance of power between either 5 or 9 or whatever number of board of supervisors and this singular person who would be responsible for all 10 million Angelenos.
So, Supervisor Barger, is it the concern, you represent North County, is it a concern that if you had a countywide campaign for a executive branch and the supervisors become the legislative branch, essentially, then Lancaster and Palmdale could be ignored because you don't have the density and the population that other parts of the district or the county have?
Absolutely. And, to that point, anyone that is saying that this is going to give better representation throughout the county is being disingenuous. This is actually consolidating power to one individual that will oversee not only a $49 billion budget, but 10 million people. So it, in fact, is diluting the power of the board and giving it all to an elected CEO, something that's buried. I call the expansion of the board, which people support, and even the ethics reform, which, by the way, either you have ethics or you don't, but I'm willing to move forward with an ethics commission. I think it's disingenuous and it's a Trojan horse because it truly is selling this as a bill of goods. This is really about consolidating power to one individual, and it's going to politicize it, and it's going to disenfranchise many areas. I mean, there's a reason why our unincorporated areas feel as though they are the stepchild of the county. That is where this board is charged with municipal services. There's a reason why East LA was fighting for cityhood, while San Fernando Valley is frustrated and feels like they're not heard by the city of LA. This is not going to change that. This is going to make it worse.
Supervisor Mitchell, do you have that problem in your district? People don't feel connected to the county?
Absolutely. Every unincorporated community really feels like they are, if you will, the stepchild. And so we fight very hard to make sure that we do provide them all of the appropriate local level of services. The other issue for my unincorporated communities, the proponents of this measure are arguing that it won't cost any more money. I don't know how you set up this brand new infrastructure of a countywide CEO, add 4 new supervisors plus their staffs, and not think it's going to cost LA County residents money. So there's no new money added. And so that means it's going to come out of our existing budget. That's the budget we use to provide services to unincorporated residents, as well as all county services. On this very same ballot, there are multiple measures on the ballot that the city of LA is looking at their governance. The difference is they had a commission to develop the policies first, and then the city council put on the ballot what was fleshed out in a very public process. That's not the way this happened. This came up. There was a motion brought before us that my colleagues and I saw a day or two before we were set to vote on it. So there's been no countywide public input or engagement, unlike the city of LA and many other ways in which we too as a board have put measures on the ballot.
When it was discussed at the board, the comment was, well, it's not perfect, but we got to get this going. If you're going to amend a county charter, you better make sure you do it right, because this is putting it before the voters. And this is something that has not been done in the 35 years that I've been working for the county. I don't recall our charter being amended in this way in the entire time I've been here.
It's Measure G. Two opponents of it, Supervisor Kathryn Barger, Supervisor Holly Mitchell. We had the proponents on earlier. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.